Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. Shock and terror hook. The mattress pressed against Naomi Harper's back was not a mattress at all. It was something alive, something that seemed to ripple and tremble beneath her, as if a giant creature were shifting just under its surface. Her first thought was mice. Mice nesting in her mattress, restless under her weight. That seemed plausible, that seemed reasonable, until she felt it again, a rhythmic movement, a deliberate rise and fall, a grotesque, slow pulse, something that seemed intentional. Suddenly, Naomi opened her eyes. Pure blackness surrounded her. The only light came from the dim glow of her alarm clock on the side table. 3:13 a.m. The witching hour, the moment when the barrier between worlds is supposed to be thinner. For a moment, her pulse seemed to match whatever was beneath her, a sickening synchronization, her heart and the mattress beating together. Then came the scratching. It started just under her left shoulder, a rhythmic tearing pressure, first a single claw-like movement, then a flurry, as if something were trying to cut its way upward. Naomi tried to lift her shoulder to roll off the mattress, but her body remained paralyzed. Whatever it was, it seemed to be holding her in place. A nightmare come alive. Her mind darted back to her first nights in this apartment, when the furniture seemed to move on its own, when the faucet turned on without a soul touching it. Strange things she'd dismissed as imagination or stress. But this was different. Whatever this was, it was physical. It was real. As the scratching grew more frantic, Naomi felt a piercing pressure beneath her side, something trying to break through, to emerge. She tried to raise her arm, tried to wiggle her toes. Nothing. Her muscles remained stiff, heavy, powerless. The mattress dipped and rose in grotesque waves. Whatever was beneath it pressed upward, with a force that seemed impossible for something hidden under a mattress. Suddenly, with a horrendous tearing, a blackening finger, leathery, knobby, grotesque, punched through the mattress fabric. Beside her thigh, Naomi tried to scream, tried to move, tried to do something, but her voice fell into silence, and her body remained a petrified corpse. The finger pressed upward, tearing a small hole in the mattress's surface. Then a second finger followed, then a third, knuckles clicking and popping, until a whole hand was forcing its way through. The flesh was leathery and black, nearly mummified. The nails were yellowed and curved, more claw than human, as Naomi remained paralyzed, powerless, the grotesque hand pressed against her side, a freezing grip, sending a rush of icy agony through her body. That icy grip seemed to seep into her soul, freezing her from the inside. Suddenly, a face pressed against the mattress from below, a face that seemed human and inhuman at once. Its skin leathery and purple-black, its jaw grotesquely unhinged. Eyes glimmered a sickening yellow in the dark, piercing, purposeful, and a voice seemed to ripple directly into her mind, bypassing her ears. "I remember what you did." For a moment, Naomi felt her soul tremble. Whatever was beneath her not only existed, it knew her. It remembered something from her past. Something shameful, something she hadn't thought about in years. Frantic, Naomi forced herself to move, to break whatever paralysis held her. With a rush of pure will, she fell off the mattress and staggered across the wooden floor on shaky legs, nearly tearing the skin from her knees in the process. Behind her, the mattress seemed to collapse in on itself, shrinking, folding, draining, until it fell flat and inert once more. Whatever creature had tried to break through seemed gone, but Naomi Harper knew it hadn't finished with her. It hadn't gotten what it came for. As she pressed her back against her bedroom wall, trying to slow her shaky breath, a sinister silence fell over her surroundings, a silence made heavy by something not of this world. Whatever it was waiting. Then, from the wall directly beside her, the wall that divided her from the neighboring apartment, came another scratching, slow, deliberate. And then, a voice. The same voice that had whispered in her mind. Pressed through the plaster and brick, a voice made of gravel and agony. "We know." The shock nearly made Naomi collapse. Whatever this was, it wasn't confined to her mattress. It wasn't a nightmare. It wasn't her imagination. It was real, and it was spreading. Suddenly, the scratching fell silent. But the silence itself seemed oppressive, a pressure on her ears, a warning that something was about to come, something much more awful. A nightmare made manifest. As Naomi pressed herself against the wall, trying to stay hidden, trying not to breathe, trying not to tremble, she realized this was only the beginning. Whatever had come for her was not finished. Whatever it wanted, it was going to find it, piece by piece, memory by memory, until it got exactly what it came. For suspense and escalation, Naomi pressed her back against the icy plaster wall, trying to keep her shaky knees from collapsing beneath her. Her breath came in short, painful bursts. Each exhale seemed to illuminate tiny clouds in the freezing air of her bedroom. Whatever warmth had filled this place when she fell asleep was gone now. It was as if the very soul of her home had been drained away. The mattress remained a grotesque, deflated mass on the floor, a literal husk of what it once was. Whatever had pressed upward from it, whatever had tried to claw its way through, seemed temporarily gone. But Naomi Harper knew it hadn't finished with her. Whatever it was close, and it was patient. Slowly, quietly, she pressed her hands against the wall to steady herself. Her knuckles turned white beneath her icy skin. She turned her head just a fraction, listening. The silence seemed oppressive, not peace, but a dangerous pause. A calm in the center of a hurricane. Then came a rhythmic scratching, not from her mattress this time, but from within the wall itself. Tap, 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 a claw, a knuckle, a deliberate, purposeful movement. Whatever was there seemed to be testing the barrier, probing for weakness. Naomi pressed her forehead against the icy plaster. "Please, please, leave me alone." The scratching faltered, then fell silent for a moment. Then something pressed back against her forehead from the other side of the wall, something hard and leathery. A knuckle, a face, a grotesque silhouette trying to match hers. For a horrified instant, Naomi felt it. The contours of its face, pressed against hers through the wall, a grotesque reflection, a shadow trying to become her. She staggered back, nearly fell and turned away, putting her back against the mattress, or what remained of it, ignoring the icy feeling, creeping up her spine. Whatever was on the other side seemed to be growing more aggressive, more intimate. It wasn't a mindless monster. It was something with knowledge, something that understood her. Suddenly her phone, discarded on the bedside table, came, alive, lighting up a dim corner of the room with its glow. The screen seemed to tremble against the wooden surface, bouncing slightly, as if something were jostling it. For a moment, Naomi was afraid to move, afraid it might be a trick and a bait, a way to draw her closer. But ignoring it seemed more dangerous. Whatever messages it held might be a key or a warning. Slowly, reluctantly, Naomi crossed the icy floor and pressed her finger against the phone's sensor. The phone opened and fell immediately into messages. Messages from an unknown number. Messages that hadn't been there when she fell asleep. The messages were brief, grotesque, haikus or riddles, in a black, shaky font. Your past has hands. Your shame has a face. Your nightmare knows you. A photo appeared, a dimly lit Polaroid, a snapshot of a young Naomi, age 13, sitting on a rooftop with her best friend Ava Harper, her twin, her mirror soul, a twin, who died tragically many years ago under strange, painful and mysterious conditions. Ava's face seemed scratched, nearly erased in the photo, as if something were trying to destroy her memory. The phone fell from Naomi's hands and struck the wooden floor. The photo remained face up, a grotesque testimony to a past Naomi hadn't dealt with, a past she'd kept hidden, a past filled with shame and regret. Suddenly, from somewhere deep in the building, a place much further than her own wall, a chorus of children's voices cried in a grotesque chant, "Your past has hands. Your shame has a face. Your nightmare knows you." The chorus seemed to grow in volume, multiplied by countless tiny mouths, bouncing through air vents and under doors, until it filled Naomi's apartment. The furniture trembled, the knickknacks fell from the shelves, and the icy chill seemed to permeate everything. As the chorus fell silent, a final shock came, a horrendous crack, and Naomi turned just in time to see the wall split, a deep black rift tearing through the plaster. Inside it, something was shifting, something was forcing its way through, something that seemed made of pure shadow, pure regret, pure nightmare. The silhouette pressed forward, taller than a man, thinner than a corpse, a grotesque silhouette of a person who seemed to be wearing her twin's face, a face Naomi hadn't seen in years, a face Naomi wished she'd forgotten. As it pressed against the tearing wall, a voice, the voice of her dead twin, whispered in Naomi's mind, "I'm back to collect what you owe." Fear of revelation. The silhouette pressed forward. Through the crack in the wall, piece by piece, a grotesque manifestation made of shadow and regret. The face it wore was Ava Harper's, Naomi's twin, a face Naomi hadn't seen in years, a face she wished she'd forgotten. As the creature crossed the boundary between wall and room, a chorus of children's voices fell suddenly silent. The icy pressure seemed to lift briefly, allowing Naomi a shaky breath, a moment to realize this nightmare was not a dream. It was something else. It was a judgment. It was a reckoning. Ava's form was taller and thinner than Naomi remembered, limbs grotesque and spider-like, knuckles knobby, skin leathery black with purple veins creeping beneath the surface. Whatever stood before her was not her twin in the literal sense. It was something wearing Ava's face, something that understood Naomi's greatest shame. For a moment, Naomi tried to squeeze her eyes closed, tried to pretend it was a nightmare. But when she opened them, the creature was closer, nearly within touching distance, close enough for Naomi to feel its icy breath against her lips. The creature pressed a grotesque, leathery finger against Naomi's forehead. The place where their twin bond had once seemed strongest, and a rush of memories exploded through Naomi's mind. Suddenly, she was 13 again, sitting side by side with Ava on the rooftop, their hands knotted together in a vow of eternal loyalty. Suddenly she was in the hospital room, staring through a small glass window, powerless to help as her twin fought a losing battle against something nobody understood, something growing within her, consuming her from the inside. Suddenly, she was back at the moment it all fell apart, when Naomi made a coward's choice. It should have been me. The thought struck Naomi with physical force. It should have been me in that hospital bed. Me, not Ava. Ava, or whatever wore her face, pressed harder, forcing Naomi back against the icy wall. The crack opened a little more. Blackness flowed from it in tendrils, a manifestation of years of regret, a physical form made from shame. The creature seemed to grow taller and more grotesque with each painful memory it forced Naomi to relive. The black veins beneath its leathery skin grew thick and knotted, threatening to split it from within. The face, Ava's face, was now a grotesque mask stretched over a monstrosity. Eyes glimmered purple-black in the dim glow from the phone that lay forgotten on the floor. "Your shame made me this." The voice seemed to come from all directions, from the wall, from Naomi's phone, from her own mind. "It kept me alive, and now it feeds me." Suddenly, the phone's light fell upon a small object, previously hidden under the mattress. A box, wooden, nearly a child's shoebox. The box where Naomi kept all her most painful mementos. Photos, letters, the hospital wristband, with Ava's name on it. The box trembled and fell on its side, and its lid opened. Scattered snapshots fell to the floor. Moments from their twin bond, moments of happiness, promises made, promises broken. Among the photos were letters, in Ava's shaky handwriting, messages Naomi hadn't been able to destroy, messages begging for her twin not to leave her, not to let her die alone. As the creature pressed forward, it seemed to absorb these mementos, growing more grotesque with each piece of regret it consumed. The face Naomi remembered was gone now, overtaken by something inhuman, something made of shame itself. It should have been you. The creature's voice fell into a chorus, numerous, overlapping, all the people Naomi believed she'd failed, her twin, her parents, herself, until Naomi pressed her hands against her ears and screamed in agony. The icy pressure pressed against her soul. The creature seemed to be tearing away her ability to pretend, to lie to herself, forcing her to confront the awful truths she'd kept buried. Suddenly, a dramatic crack opened in the ceiling above, sending a rush of freezing air downward. A literal path for something else, something black and grotesque, descending from above, adding its weight to her nightmare. Whatever was above and below seemed to be closing in on Naomi, threatening to fold her into their nightmare reality. Whatever peace or happiness remained in her was at risk of being erased. Whatever hope she had left was about to be consumed by regret made manifest. As the creature pressed closer, nearly touching her, nearly assimilating her, Naomi Harper made a decision in her soul. She would face whatever came, whatever she had avoided for years, whatever she feared most. Whatever the cost, the true nightmare was not the monster in her home, it was the monster within herself. The fall of Naomi Harper. Naomi pressed herself against the icy wall, battling her own fear, battling the shame threatening to destroy her soul. The creature made from her regret pressed closer, letting its grotesque form become nearly a mirror. Reflecting back to Naomi, everything she tried to pretend hadn't happened. The phone on the floor glimmered weakly in the dimness. The wooden box of mementos remained upturned, its contents strewn across the floor, a literal representation of her soul's chaos. And above her, through the crack in the ceiling, something else was descending. Something black and grotesque. Something Naomi hadn't yet faced. As the first drops fell from above, thick, black, tar-like fluids, Naomi pressed herself against the wall in disbelief. The drops fell faster and faster, soon pouring into a small stream, a stream made of pure nightmare, and from it rose a silhouette more grotesque than the creature wearing Ava's face. The silhouette unfurled leathery wings made of shadow, a grotesque hybrid of human and monster. Eyes opened across its body, countless purple-black orbs, all staring directly at Naomi. This was the true form of her shame, a manifestation not just of her regret over Ava, but of all the choices she'd made afterwards. All the years of ignoring her pain, ignoring her conscience, ignoring the people who tried to help her. It all feeds me. The creature's voice seemed to come from all directions at once, a chorus made of Naomi's doubts and disappointments. It made me strong. It made me real. The creature pressed downward, adding its oppressive weight to the nightmare Naomi already fought against. Her knees trembled, nearly giving way under the pressure. She tried to move, tried to resist, but shame is a powerful anchor, tying us to moments we wish we could erase. Flames of purple-black rose up around her feet, creeping upward, threatening to engulf her entirely. The room seemed to warp and fold in on itself, a labyrinth made of her own painful memories. A hospital corridor stretched forward, dimly lit, oppressive, a place Naomi hadn't walked in years. Suddenly she was there, reliving the worst moment of her life, the moment she chose to let Ava face death alone. A young Naomi pressed her forehead against the glass, not entering the room where her twin lay, weak and fading. Ava's face turned. Toward her, a mixture of understanding and hurt. "Don't be afraid, just please and stay." But Naomi turned away, walking backwards, letting the hospital's automatic doors close between them, closing the last chance to say goodbye. This was the moment shame was born in her. This was the moment the creatures feeding on her soul first tasted power. "It's your fault." The chorus seemed to multiply, adding the voice of her parents, her friends, herself. "It's all your fault." Flames rose higher. The grotesque silhouette pressed forward, threatening to consume her. For a moment, Naomi contemplated letting it. Maybe this was what she deserved. Maybe this was her punishment, eternal regret. But then, something shifted. A single photo fell from the box. A photo of Ava and Naomi smiling, hands intertwined, wearing matching hospital wristbands from when they were children. A moment of pure, unconditional love. As the photo fell into the blackening stream, it seemed to illuminate it. A spark of light blossomed in its wake, tiny at first, then growing, battling back the oppressive shadow. Naomi felt something within her lift, something pure and strong, a thread tying her not just to regret, but to love. She remembered a promise made years earlier, to love each other no matter what. "It's not your fault. It's what we fought against together." As these words filled her, the creatures faltered, flames dimmed. The oppressive silhouette above her trembled. The face wearing Ava's fell away, piece by piece, until it was a barren, formless shadow. The countless purple-black eyes closed, one by one. The oppressive weight upon Naomi seemed to lighten. The black stream fell back upward, retreating into the ceiling. The grotesque form, pressed against her from in front, fell backwards into shadow, disintegrating into ashes. Suddenly, the room fell silent, the icy pressure gone. For the first time in years, Naomi felt peace. As she knelt amid the ashes, amid the photo, the mementos, something within her clicked back into place. Her soul was wounded, but it was healing. Her shame no longer defined her. Her love remained. The secret hallways of Harper Manor. The ashes fell from Naomi's hands as she stood up, shaky but unharmed. The oppressive silence that filled her home seemed less heavy now, less threatening, as if a pressure valve had opened somewhere deep within its soul. For the first time in days, a sliver of light fell through the crack in her ceiling, illuminating the photo of two young girls holding hands, smiling against a world that hadn't yet turned its back on them. Naomi pressed it against her chest and whispered, I remember us." As she turned away from the ashes, something else fell from the box, something she hadn't noticed previously. It was a small, rusted key, a key that seemed to pulse faintly in her hand, as if alive. Suddenly a rush of icy air blew through the room. The key glimmered purple-black for a moment, then fell from her grip and darted across the wooden floor, a force not entirely its own, until it struck a hidden lock near the baseboard. With a dramatic tremor, a small wooden panel opened, revealing a hidden passage beneath Harper Manor. Naomi pressed her phone's light into the opening. The corridor fell downward into total blackness, a labyrinth of forgotten spaces beneath. Her home, a hidden network of rooms Harper ancestors had kept from the world, a place where shame and regret were meant to be buried and forgotten. Hand pressed against her rapidly beating heart, Naomi felt a strange mixture of fear and resolve. Whatever lay down there, it was a piece of her story, a piece her ancestors tried to erase, and she could no longer avoid it. Using her phone's weak light, Naomi descended the wooden stairs. The air grew thick, heavy with decades-old dust. And something else, something that seemed alive, something that seemed protective or possessive. As her feet fell upon the bottom step, the key flew from her grip and clicked into a massive wooden door at the end of the corridor. The mechanisms within it fell into place, decades-old locks turning. and the door opened on its own with a piercing, ancient whine. Inside, Naomi found herself in a dimly lit chamber. Harper ancestors' portraits were hung on the stone walls, their eyes scratched out or burned. In the center stood a wooden chest, chains tying it closed. As Naomi stepped forward, the chains fell away, and the lid opened. Inside were documents, letters, marriage certificates, birth and death records, a hidden Harper genealogy that seemed to connect her directly to something dark and elemental. As Naomi turned page after page under her phone's glow, a chilling picture fell into place. Her ancestors had made a pact, a vow, a deal with something older than the Harper name. To conquer sickness and tragedy, to conquer death itself, they made promises in exchange for power. But the price was their children's peace, their happiness, their very soul. This curse flowed through Harper blood, marking each generation, consuming their happiness and turning love into shame, connection into isolation. Ava hadn't gotten sick by chance. Harper ancestors chose her, a sacrifice, a way to prolong their own power. And Naomi. Naomi was meant to be the keeper of this knowledge. The keeper, or the destroyer. Suddenly, a chorus of voices filled the chamber, the Harper ancestors, begging, threatening, crying, "Save us, free us, carry us forward, or destroy us." As the ghostly chorus fell silent, Naomi pressed the photo of her and Ava against her heart once more. She whispered, "Your power stops here." The chains fell from the rest of the documents. The hidden chamber trembled. Harper Manor seemed to exhale its last anguished breath. The curse tying generations together was weakening. But it was not gone yet. It would take a final showdown, a final sacrifice, to sever it once and for all. The curse is lifted, but at a cost. The hidden chamber trembled under Naomi's feet, dust falling from its ceiling in slow, shimmering cascades. The Harper ancestors' chorus fell into a restless silence, waiting, poised on the edge of oblivion, to see what Naomi would do next. Her hands tightened around the photo of her and Ava. The curse flowed through their bloodline, tying them to a legacy of shame, regret, and sacrifice. To destroy it, Naomi would need to confront its true form, the black soul that made pacts, demanded sacrifice, and kept the Harper name alive through generations of suffering. Suddenly, the key glowed purple-black once more and flew from her grip, piercing, upward through Harper Manor and into the heavens. As it struck, thunder rumbled above, and a purple-black thundercloud gathered directly over the Harper estate. The heavens opened, and a single bolt fell, pure, elemental, tearing through the center of Harper Manor into its hidden chamber, straight into the wooden chest. Flames of purple-black sprang upward, consuming documents, furniture, and the very stones. A purifying flame meant to destroy the curse's physical anchor. As Naomi pressed the photo against her heart and fell to her knees, something rose. From the ashes, a silhouette made of shadow, taller than a man, wings unfurling in grotesque majesty, eyes glimmering purple-black. This was the curse itself, the soul that Harper ancestors struck a deal with. The creature addressed Naomi directly in a voice made of 1,000 anguished promises. "Your ancestors chose me. Your children, your future, were mine. Who are you to destroy what made you?" For a moment Naomi faltered. This curse, this creature, was not separate from her. It flowed through her veins, a legacy made manifest. But then she pressed the photo tighter against her, letting love conquer shame. "I am Naomi Harper, sister, keeper, destroyer." With those words, a blinding light exploded from her, tearing through the creature and breaking it into countless sparks. The black wings fell in ashes. The purple-black thundercloud above Harper Manor dissolved into pure light. Suddenly, silence fell, heavy, pure silence, for the first time in generations. The curse was gone. The Harper legacy, whatever remained, would be defined by love, not shame, peace, not regret. As Naomi staggered back into the ruins of Harper Manor, phone light dimming, photo in hand, she felt something lift from her soul, something heavy, something oppressive, letting her breathe once more. A gentle breeze flowed through the ruins. The photo fell from her grip and was carried upward through the ashes, into the heavens. Ava's face seemed to illuminate briefly in the photo's glow, smiling, at peace. With that, the Harper curse was gone. The nightmare was over, but the price was a home, a family legacy, and a piece of Naomi herself. She walked away from Harper Manor without looking back, letting it collapse into ruins. A forgotten nightmare, a story of regret, and eventual redemption. As Naomi made her way into the dawn, the first rays of light fell upon her, warming her face and soul. For the first time in years, she felt free. But somewhere, deep in the ashes, a single purple-black spark remained. Unaini hidden, nearly powerless, a silent reminder that some doors may be closed, but are never fully locked. The end.